So you've clicked the link and come to Google Colab, which is likely entirely new to you. But don't panic, we're going to walk through this step by step, what it actually is, how to use it, and then you'll be more comfortable with the actual programming activities and Python code that you're going to be creating following the lesson activities. So the first thing we need to do is check up in the top right corner if it's got the blue button that says sign in like I have here. Although you've got the lab activity that I've given you here, the sign in button means that you're not currently signed in, so it won't be able to automatically save your progress, and it's best if you log in. So click the sign in button before you do anything else. That will then take you to a sign in box. Now, if you're not currently signed into Google, you likely don't have a Gmail or Google account, so you'll need to set one up. Now you can either create a new one using a Gmail or Google account and have a new email address, or we can sign in with an existing external email address, and I'll show you how to do that. So if you've got a Gmail or a Google account, type in your email and then sign in with your password and you'll be fine. If, however, you need to set something up, type in your first name and last name as requested, and then you've got the choice of either setting up a Gmail account, or you can click use my current email address instead. See, when I use my current email address instead, I can type in my university email address as standard and then create a password and confirm that and hit next. I'm asked for a phone number, which is optional. It's up to you if you want to give that information to Google. It's likely they already have it. Then you've got your day, month and year, and then your gender that they're asking for. Finally, you need to agree to the privacy terms. And then, just to confirm, you have to hit the confirm button. Now we'll be ready to get started on the actual programming activities. But if you close your browser or have lost a link or come back to this later, don't panic. We're going to be showing you how to download your files and how to get back onto Colab in a bit. So now that we're signed in, and you can check that you're signed in by seeing your logo in the top right corner of your initials that you signed in with from your email address, we're ready to actually start in Google Colab. Okay, as I said, this could be a bit daunting, but don't panic. Okay, you can't break it, I promise. So what Colab is a free computing resource that Google have given away openly to everyone in the world. So we're actually logged in through the cloud to a computer in one of Google's data warehouses, and we're running our code on their machines. So we'd have to install anything on our computers, we'd have to worry about computer memory or any applications or things like that. It's absolutely great for research and brilliant for sharing things as well. And we'll see that as you start to do some work with other colleagues, or if you manage to do some work and get stuck and need some help from us, that's absolutely fine. So the first thing we're going to do is look at these different blocks, and we've introduced the fact that there are text blocks and code blocks. Code blocks are light grey, and when you hover over them with your mouse, there's a little circular play button. So text tiles are there for reminders and for notes, and this is your notebook now. You can use it as you want. So if you think that the notes don't explain something well enough, then add your own notes to it, make your own reminders and things. So all you have to do to edit a text tile is just double click, and then you can add in your own text here. I'm adding text. You can either then click off it or push Shift and Enter on your computer. Now the text blocks are just there as reminders and as explainers for what's going on in the code, and they break up sections nicely. Code blocks are the things where we're actually writing Python code and we're doing some programming. So we need to actually tell the computer to run those code instructions that we're giving it. We can't just type them in and expect it to do it automatically. So we've got a code tile here, and we can tell that because it's light grey, and it's not being run because there's no output underneath, and we'll see what the output looks like in a second. So we've got a print function, and we've asked it to print the word output, so that when I click play or push Shift and Enter, it's going to run that. It's going to take a few seconds for the first time it does anything. And the reason is it's fully connecting and starting up that computer for us. And then we can see the word output has appeared down here. If I want something different to be appearing in there, then I can change what the print statement says. I can change it to hello. Push Shift and Enter, and then it'll say the word hello. Now there's some things you need to be aware of with this notebook. We've broken it up into 4 key sections as far as the activities go. And lots of these are going to be self-directed and you completing activities based upon what we've shown you already. But don't panic, there are worked solutions in here as well. So we've got programming activities, where we can see that there are 32 cells that are hidden, so they're individual bits of text blocks and code blocks where you're going to be asked to complete things, to practice them, to build up your skill. And the solutions for each of those activities are in this section here. Then we're going to be working with the data file, and there's going to be a video showing you how to upload a data file and to work with it. And it'll be an Excel style data file, because that's often what you're going to be working with. And then the worked solutions for the activities in that section. Finally, a brief explainer for wrapping up, and then you'll move on to the next section of this course. So we know how to run sections, but maybe you've run something and it's broken, or you're not sure what's gone on. You can do one of 2 things. You can clear all the outputs so that none of them are showing anymore and that you're almost starting afresh. Or if you think it's all gone wrong, then you can restart the computer, and that'll just take a second, restart all your settings, your savings and everything, start afresh, and then you can run your lab notebook as it was. Okay, you might have noticed in this corner it's gone from where it said connecting or to connect to a RAM and a disk space indicator to show how much capacity you're using on Google's computer. In most of the things you're doing, you're not likely to get anywhere close to the limitation. But if you find that you are in other future, data analysis projects and things, well, that's great that you're working with more complex and powerful data systems. But you can always buy more resource, or set it up or distribute that, and we can talk about that later on. The final things to talk about are about how to save your file. It'll automatically save with every bit of code or text that you type, and you'll see that all changes are saved on My Notebook. But if you want to as well, and you're a bit like me and like old-fashioned, want it to be saved so that you've got a hold of it on your desktop or on your computer, that's absolutely fine. All you have to do is go to download and download .ipynb, and what that stands for is IPython Notebook. If you download that, it'll appear in your downloads as the Anesthesia 3.2 notebook. So if we want to get on with our programming activities, we need to click this arrow and expand this section to then see what you're being asked to do. And the first thing you're going to do is write a print statement to say which hospital you work at. I'm going to leave you to carry on with the rest of the activities, but don't panic if you get stuck, because they're all based on the material that you've already seen, and you're not necessarily going to be an expert in any way, shape or form at the end of those lessons that we've done. So you can see the worked solutions in here if you expand this section. So you've downloaded your Colab files, you've done the activities, but you want to get back into Colab and practice those skills a bit more, develop things further. That's great. But you don't necessarily want to go to the same link or trudge through all the material that we've given you to find that. To get to Google Colab, all you have to do is in the search bar, type Google Colab and click the first link. That will bring you to this introductory Google Colab page. You can see that I'm not signed in here, but don't panic, you should be. Then an orange box will appear, and then you can upload your files. And the way that we do that is either by creating a new notebook in the bottom right, or hitting the Upload tab, and then choosing the file that you've downloaded from the previous activities that we've done. And then you can just carry on as you had done.